Thank you, Charlotte.
You're welcome, Andy.
Are you going to do attendance, or we're just going to cut straight to the chase?
Sure. On a roll call, Councilman Troy?
Present.
Councilman Divney?
Here.
Councilman Moore?
Here.
Councilman Valentine?
Here.
And Supervisor Stewart.
Here. It looks like we have a great bunch of people here for tonight's meeting. We start out with the public comment portion, and with a motion from myself, I'd like to open the public portion. Can I have a second? From Valentine, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We'd love to have, we have some folks signed in, and then we'll have a show of hands after that. First up is Nick Frustashi. Thank you very much, sir. We do have this little timer, for those unfamiliar with it. Most people say what they need to say in less than 3 minutes.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm
Thank
from
you.
Sparkill, New York, Nick Frustashi. Currently I'm on the Golf Advisory Committee, and Mr. Valentine and Mr. Costello, our chairman, came up with the idea of downsizing the committee. And the only way they went about it fairly, the way they see it is fairly, is checking the attendance record of 2 years. I have the attendance records here, and the people that you are appointing tonight on the committee, I have a better attendance than 6 of them that are on the committee more. So this is a vendetta by Mr. Costello, the chairman, who's picking who he wants on the committee, not the town board. The town board should be picking them, not him. That's what I have to say. Also, my qualifications, I was on the committee since when Mrs. Sullivan was on the committee, on the town board. When I was 16 and 17 years old, I worked at Rockland Country Club cutting greens and doing maintenance work. And after that, I went into the service, I came out, I became a policeman in the town of Orangetown, 21 years. After 1977, when I retired from Orangetown, I was involved in the golf business every year since then, and I'm still employed by Rockland Country Club. I opened the Haverstraw Golf Course the first year. I ran the pro shop, and I gave golf lessons. And in 1990 and 91, I worked at Delaware Country Club as an assistant ground superintendent, doing maintenance work, supervising people and whatnot. I guess my qualifications don't qualify for me to be on a committee. I still think it's a personal vendetta with Mr. Costello, because I did not vote yes on leasing out the golf course at Broadacres. I only voted yes if Mike Caravello would be promised the job, which he was promised by the town board and some other people. But then you let him go. The best employee that Orangetown ever had is someone else's gain up in Orange County right now. I still work at Rockland Country Club, and I wish to remain on the golf committee, because I think I have more experience than anybody that's on that committee, working in the golf business all these years, from '77 to the present time. And I thank you for your comments.
Thank you, sir. Next up is Esther Baitler.
Good evening, Supervisor Andy Stewart and town board members. Hi, my name is Esther Ann Baitler, and I live in Kathy Lucan's Independent Living Center in Sparkill. Tonight I'm here to address 2 issues. I would like to know what is really going on with our new sidewalks for Route 340. Whenever I talk to the highway department, the answer I get is May. I would like a target date. I want to know when they're actually going to start the work. They keep saying, yeah, they're going to do it. Nothing's happened. Meanwhile, there are several car accidents on Route 340. People are speeding like crazy. We really need these sidewalks. It's not fair that we're not getting a date. All I get is May. That doesn't give me enough information. And it's not fair. I've been asking about this over and over again. I'm not getting anywhere. We have people who need to be able to walk on those new sidewalks. But I really feel that I deserve an answer. Not just tell me bluntly in May. I think that this is unfair. This has been voted on, and people are just dragging their feet with this job. It's not right. I've been really wondering what's going on. Why is it taking people this long to get work done?
We can certainly talk a bit about that tonight.
This is a safety issue, Andy, and it's not fair. I would like some kind of an answer.
All right, what I'm doing right now is I'm waiting for you to finish, and then we will get you the answer.
Okay, the other issue is, I'd like to know when the sewer department is gonna buy sewer covers. Because the sewer odors on 340 at night and in the morning is awful. Really bad, and it's toxic. I was told this 2 years ago. Yeah, they're gonna get the covers. Nothing's been done. I'd like to know why this has been dragging on.
All right, that's one that I don't have an answer for you right now, so thank you for bringing it
But-
up. I just wrote it down, and
I'd like to hear from the other board members beside you, and I think this is something that needs to be discussed.
Yep, well, we appreciate you bringing it up.
I really urge the board to deal with this issue, please. Not in 6 months now. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, do you just want to give us a minute recap on what's up with the 3 sidewalk projects I know you're working on? I think that would help, instead of having that later when maybe Esther doesn't want to sit through the meeting.
Okay, we've purchased the properties necessary on the 340 project. That's been sent on to the state. We're waiting for approval from them to take the next step and go out to bid. If the recent conversation, I probably said in May, we're hoping to hear from them so that we're in a position that we'll be able to go out to bid. All the documents are ready, the design is done, the bid documents are ready, but we can't make that next step until DOT approves the point that we're at right now.
Sorry, Esther.
The 340, the Oak Tree Road in Palisades went out to bid. It was advertised, actually it'll be in the paper tomorrow, Wednesday. We sent it into the newspapers on Friday, which is our required time frame. So that'll be in the newspapers and the bid net, and another state reporter that we put those, all of our bids in. So we should be getting information back in that within 2 weeks. I think our schedule is to bring recommendations to you at the end of May. If we do that and we're awarding a contract, then we should hopefully be in the construction stage at the end of June, beginning of July. That's what we're shooting for on that one.
All right, that sounds great.
Jim, why was I told in May?
Esther,
I was told that by the highway department.
Esther, first of all,
That's in a Muno.
is 2 different sidewalk projects we're talking about,
I'm talking about the one on 340.
and that's the
He
one,
told me May.
right, and that's what he
They
just,
would go out to bid.
he just said that again. That is confirmed.
No, I didn't say
Right.
we were going out to bid.
No, I'm
I
sorry.
said hopefully we were going to get the information back from
Right.
DOT. If they approve it, we are ready to go out to bid. The other one, I said in the 340 sidewalk project, the Oak Tree Road sidewalk project, which is solely a town project, is out to bid.
That's
We have
great.
one more state-funded project that's in the downtown business area in Pearl River. That should be going out to bid within the next couple weeks. We're right at this stage for them to tell us that that's going to go out. We did send a letter to the adjacent property owners explaining to them that, it's in the process. In that project, we're hoping that we get the same kind of approvals and that we could be working there in July and August, get out of there before the end of October.
All right,
Okay?
thanks for the update, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim. Why we were told May and now
Esther, Esther,
June or July?
we have other people who need to speak, and we're moving on. Esther's a great advocate for sidewalks, and we appreciate that, and we need to keep moving along here. Our next speaker is John from Orangetown on the Golf Committee.
Good evening, I'm John Clifford, I'm from Orangeburg. I'm a member of the Golf Committee, I'm probably the longest-serving member now. But we're an uncompensated committee. It's not costing the town anything to have these people reappointed. We have qualified, willing people to serve the town, and you're more or less telling them that you don't want them. I was chairperson of this committee for a period. When I was chairperson, we had 18 to 21 members. How the committee works is we have a monthly meeting, but in between the monthly meeting, the subcommittees are supposed to meet. So if you have, when I was the chairman with 21 people, we had 3 or 4 people on a subcommittee. You had a better chance of the subcommittee meeting. If you cut it down too low, you're going to have 1 or 2 people on the subcommittee, and they're not going to meet in between the meetings. That's one thing. The other thing is, we get our most attendance at our meetings during the season. If we cut it down to 10 people during the off-season, January, February, December, we're going to wind up meetings with 4 people, 5 people. Even during the season, we're lucky if we get 70%. So you're going to wind up with meetings with 7 people. I mean, if these people are willing and qualified to serve, I don't see what the benefit to cutting the committee is. So I think it's atrocious that if it happens tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I know Councilman Valentine will respond on golf stuff shortly. I've got Marlene Conroy. Sorry, I couldn't read your. That's not what it says. Welcome, sir.
I'm just here and with my wife as a concerned citizen regarding the traffic problem we have at CVS and ShopRite. Like, I've been in this town 15 years, and in that small stretch of road, there's been 3 fatalities that I know of. I want to know if the town has any plans to do anything. On our side of town, our kids have to walk to school. We don't get any buses, so they have to cross somewhere there, and it is, as anybody knows that area, it is very difficult to cross over there. Has the town any plans to do anything?
We'll have Jimmy Dean go.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jimmy, back up again.
Okay.
Well, I think, as you know, the police department is doing an investigation on the particular incident. We usually meet with them once a month to discuss any issues that can be taken care of based on their reports. So we don't have all the information in, so it's hard to say exactly what could be done. But you know that we've been looking at this for a long period of time. It's a very dangerous intersection. We understand that. There are 2 crosswalks, both on town roads, and the rest of it actually is not within our jurisdiction. So we can't just go out and paint a crosswalk or put a sign on somebody else's jurisdiction. So that's where we are. As soon as we get the information back from the police.
What about the grant that we're applying for Milton?
Well, the grant, that's one of the
Well, I'm
key,
saying that's
okay, yes,
relevant information then.
right. Included in the grant is money to do a traffic study, and specifically about $40,000 to look at that particular section, because it's probably going to need to be completely redesigned to make it pedestrian safety. That's basically why I don't think there's any crosswalks on the county roads now, because there's really a difficult situation about how do you get them across that wider roadway. So the roads that have crosswalks on them are East Center Avenue, which belongs to the town, and South Middletown Road, which belongs to the town. So can't give you any silver bullets because I don't really know. It's going to take, it's still in the preliminary stages. This project, there's a state DOT project, federally funded, so there's usually a lot of preparation has to be done. I think the good thing on this one is we've already had a meeting with DOT representatives. They came down and spoke to us, which is kind of a reverse from our previous projects. They understand that we want to move this along. But the first step is we have to hire a consulting engineer, and there's a process for that. And we haven't been given the okay to go on that process yet. So I realistically, that project, before anything work would begin is got to be 18 months. And I think that would be on a fast track.
Thank you. I know that we all worked real hard pulling that grant together, and it's certainly a tribute to the highway department, our engineering staff. We're in a great position now to actually fix some stuff over there. But it's not going to happen overnight by a long shot. And that's why the police are out there doing their accident investigation and flyering the neighborhood and warning people about the hazard of trying to cross in a spot where it's dangerous to cross.
One of the issues also, when you put a crosswalk up, you still gotta be light on your feet. You're going across the crosswalk, people are gonna stop for you as you're going across the street, you know, it's still an unsafe situation, even if you put the crosswalk, and I don't even know where you would put it there, between Central Avenue and up to, you know, to Washington, you know, where, because this car's coming in every direction, you know, it's a, you need a study for a solution, not necessarily, you know, to say, you don't need a study to say there's a problem. There's no doubt there's a problem. One of the things that was done was at least the left-hand turn signal that was put there on Central. That took forever to get that because, you know, dealing with the county. But, you know, compliment Jimmy for, you can't just, well, it's a different problem.
Right, the idea of having a crossing guard, I'm hearing that, and I don't know exactly how that would work or whether it's possible, but the police chief is sitting in the back of the room, and we'll certainly take that into consideration as a short term.
I think you might have signed it wrong.
Right.
You could do
Pass
that.
it down.
Right, that's an interesting idea.
That's-
And just so you know, that when we say study, what happened was the town got a grant for $2 million to fix, to put a whole lot of safety improvements in there. So the study the superintendent of highways is talking about is basically creating a plan for how to spend that money over the next couple of years. And that will happen. It ain't gonna happen tomorrow, but it will happen, and it will be redesigned, and it will be safer when the project is finished. And that's something that is our focus right now, is moving that along as fast as possible. We have the money, you need engineers to create designs, and then you move forward with it. So the study is not, as Mr. Troy just said, it's not whether or not, its question is designing. And I think we're in a great position to address it long-term. Short-term, crossing guards and stuff like that, I think it's an interesting idea, but I can't give you an answer on that right now. We've got Lou Eichner. Okay. We're moving ahead with the zoning question that you raised earlier. All right. There was a public hearing on vehicles and traffic, and Mr. Bill Balder signed in on that. Were you aiming to sign in for general? Because go ahead and come up to the podium. Just got you on the wrong list there.
That sheet was gone, so I couldn't sign it on the right sheet.
Sorry about that. We had an eager participant who brought it up to my desk.
It wasn't 7:30 yet.
I know. I know.
I'm here to voice support for the fellows who are being cut from the golf committee. I'm one of them, but I don't care. I've contributed a lot of time to the committee, and some of my efforts stand today, okay? The shotgun starts in the afternoon with losing money, and there was revenue going down the tube. I spent weeks of my time designing a whole plan to come up with how you can have shotgun starts and make money. That plan took me probably 2 to 3 weeks. I just happened to be in Florida, where I go for 5 months out of the year, which explains my absences. That plan, plus the plan I put in place to help investigate the pro shop replacements when the contracts went out, that was about 3 weeks of my time. When I add all of that up, I've got more than 10 years of absences I can explain. Even though I'm a 30%er on the attendance list, my contributions in time input more than justifies the time I've not been here. I did a lot of work when I was in Florida. However, and Golf Now, by the way, I brought Golf Now in, which is now a plan that brings people from out of town into the town to play golf, and people recognize that. That was my idea, and I brought them in. So I've contributed something to this town, And I don't care if I go back on the committee, but I'm here to support the rest of the people. I'm a busy man, and my volunteer time is very important. So the question is, what's the real reason behind getting rid of the people on the golf committee? And I think before you nominate all the people that are going back on it, you find out the real reason. Because it is an absence, and they never looked at qualifications and what they contributed to the golf committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I got a show of hands. If you want to speak, can you come up to the podium? Because otherwise folks might not be able to hear you.
Good evening, Watson Morgan from Blauvelt. I happened to be at ShopRite in that area when the gentleman was being attended to by the ambulance and the aftermath of the accident and the bus being in the middle of the street where it stopped immediately when that was a horrible scene. Something's got to be done, and it's got to be done quickly. You had probably $40,000, if you're talking numbers, probably $40,000 worth of police activity assessing that accident and eventual death. Push-button signs that stop the road when there's pedestrians. I spoke to a couple of students that normally they wanted to cross the street. I said, "Where do you cross the street?" He said, "Right here, because we go to CVS to pick up candy and soda and things like that, because evidently it's cheaper." But something's got to be done there, and it's got to be done soon. We keep talking about studies and studies and studies. Something about the traffic light is there. Put some push-button controls so people can cross the street. If they've got to go towards the Masonic home and then across and then back down, so be it. They have that in the city. If people are going from A to B, that's probably where they should go. That little white zebra stripes is probably ridiculous. Whoever designed that, I hope they're not here anymore. That's number one. A week later, I happened to be in the playground at Veterans with my grandson, and with a split-second nod of an eye, we saw an accident that had 2 or 3 cars at the intersection of Hunt, Veterans, and Old Orangeburg Road. Going back 10 years when Stedge was supposed to put their Mondo sports complex in, one of the things I believe they were supposed to do was put in a traffic light. It probably was predicated on them putting in their sports complex. But now we have the nonprofit profit soccer program, which is really busy, and really busy people going into that complex, and the baseball, and the people exiting their work site at the industrial park. Something's got to be done there also. And, 10 years when it was designed that there should be a light at that intersection, it just is so busy there. I think the accident happened on Monday. And there was 2 or 3 cars, and then there was a whole bunch of cars that, it was like Rye Play, it certainly looked like Rye Playland, bumper cars. Thank you very much.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention. I wonder if it makes sense to maybe put that forward to the Traffic Advisory Board for consideration. Are there any other folks for public comment during this period? All right, hearing none, I'll make a motion to close the public comment. Can I have a second? Second for Divany. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Like to respond to Jerry, and the other people here talking about Middletown Road and 11. I think this town board can't afford to wait for the study. We should send a resolution up to the county asking them, for help. I mean, we need something there, because I was sitting with Lisa Dorman yesterday trying to think of a way for your children coming from Washington to cross that street in a safe manner, and I just can't think of one, because there's no way to get over, there's no way to do it. No, listen,
I remember going from the high school, you'd get out, you'd run across from the, what was it? The old tobacco store. You'd run across to go to Tony's, and you'd almost get hit by a car. There's no safe way there, and the way that these grants work, and when the work's done, it's gonna be 4 or 5 years. So I think the town board owes it to the residents of Pearl River and the town of Orangetown to petition the county for relief. And it would be great if we could get signatures from people in town saying that we can't afford to wait 5 years. We need to get this done now. And I don't know if that's gonna do anything. You know, the county is kind of like the state. They take their time also. But, and even if we do a study, I can't promise you that's gonna alleviate the concern you have. I know where you live, and I know how your kids have to cross that street, you know, and it's not a safe option right now. And that's it.
It seems to, it's all a busy intersection from the mall in and CVS, and you have them trying to cross by the CVS and go to ShopRite without going around. And you just cannot step onto the street. You're gonna get, on the way over here, a lady ran out of CVS, we're going over to ShopRite. She came out between the bushes, we had to stand the brakes on.
People have to put their hand up to cross, so that shouldn't be. Should be able to walk,
In some cases, but I don't know what the answer is.
I don't, but we need help from the county.
Until something else happens, hopefully not scary. Really, I pick my son up every day now, I'm so scared. Scared, and go down by Zimmy's or CVS, you can't get across there, it's ridiculous. And there's a lot of kids in our streets coming in, a lot of young kids are coming up down, they will try to cross that road for 5, 10 years, done the same thing.
Maybe there's something the traffic advisory board can suggest.
They're gonna have to walk it.
I know when we met with Senator Carlucci there to look at this, it's so difficult because none of those roads line up, right? And then you have that little stripe thing. So they're saying that they're gonna put a raised island there as a safety zone. So when you cross from one, you can make it to there. And as we were there, the cars were going so fast, even though it was a red light, around that turn, that they were almost hitting people. So, I don't know, maybe we could put a stop there or before. I mean, we're never gonna stop the people who cross in between the bushes trying to, we're never gonna stop that, but there gotta be a way to do something, even if it's temporary, so. I agree, and I agree with Tom that it's a county road, we should seek some relief from them, and maybe some input from the residents or signatures would help.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do the signatures, if you do get the signatures, then what you should do is go up to the county and have the same type of public portion on the second and the fourth Tuesdays. But I'm just saying, it's the same type of thing. I've been up there, and sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't respond. There was, trying to be the road, 202, where somebody was killed there, and again, they came in with 40 people, and it was finally addressed for 10 years, at least. That was Habsburg, was trying to get something done, couldn't get it done, with the county. So, at times, politicians respond to numbers.
And I think, it's getting more like a cemetery, and instead, you have weeds on both sides of the road now. I think maybe if the county saw those, maybe we'll do something. And there's one of them's been there for the last 4 or 5 years. Jimmy was, knocked down over there.
All right, well, this is a discussion that has to move into a table where you've got some traffic safety experts sitting with members of the community and coming up with some kind of a proposal for the county. And I think that we should bring it to the traffic advisory board. And if there is a short-term solution that we can propose, then that's what we'll do.
But at the same
None
time,
of us knows what it is right now, as far as I know.
I still think we need a resolution from the town board.
Okay.
Do that.
All right. I think that's it for comments. We also, or did you want to talk to the golf question?
I should talk a little bit about the golf. Yes.
We already did that.
All right. I'm Paul Valentine. I am the liaison for the golf committee. And the one thing I can tell you for sure is every one of the gentlemen that came to speak, and John that's here, have much more experience in golf than I do. I'm a businessman. I got selected to be on the golf committee to help with the business end of it. I don't know anything about cutting greens. Nick probably forgot more about golf than I'll ever know. So there was never a question about anybody's qualifications. I don't agree that bigger is always better, and just because there is, it's a volunteer organization that you just put everybody on. I think there comes a limit to that there's too many people. And part of the mantra that I've been preaching here at local government is that smaller government is sometimes better government, and we have too many people on too many committees. And there is no movement on the golf committee. There's absolutely no movement. There's no term limits. It's not like other committees where you serve for 3 years or 5 years and you get reappointed. Basically, you're there. So it has been suggested that we limit the size of the committee. And I said, you know, I'm the liaison, but these guys all have much more qualifications than I do. How can we come up to a way to limit the committee? Because we do have a lot of public that comes out and complains every time the golf budget comes up that they think that for some reason these people get something for being on the committee. They don't. All they do is give. They give their time, they give their knowledge, they give their energy. But they wanted, you know, we have less involvement now with Broadacres than we did. We do have subcommittees that are well-manned and they're well taken care of, and they have been for years. Some of these guys were part of those subcommittees. And we're trying to get some movement in the committees, a couple of younger guys in, some new ideas, some fresh ideas. Not that your ideas weren't great, and your commitment and your efforts for the committee were great. I took the lead from the chairman of the golf committee and said, help me figure out a way of doing this. And his way was, let's just pick attendance. And Nick, this is how it came up. And we went through this, we talked about this.
So please let the councilman finish what he's saying.
So I don't think personally that it's a vendetta of any kind. There's 4 people being removed or not reappointed. I shouldn't say removed, not being reappointed. We're cutting the size of the committee down to 10, and it is an open meeting. So everybody is always open to come with their suggestions to every single golf committee. Just because you're not reappointed to the committee doesn't mean that you can't come and give your ideas. You're welcome to come to every meeting.
Are you finished, Paul?
Yeah, pretty much. I just wanted to explain
Right.
the best point of view I could.
Sir, it's,
They can do
Listen.
on the attendance. You check the attendance record, which you told me on the email, don't bother to waste my time on the attendance, because I was already watched. I was off the committee.
I sent you the attendance record, Nick, when you asked me.
You told me not to bother with the attendance record. So I didn't look at it. And I looked at it, and I have better attendance record than the 6 people that you're putting on here right now. What's the reason for that?
all right, that's, you guys, this is gonna happen after the meeting, because we don't need to have a debate, but we certainly have an exchange of information, and we can certainly talk about it after the meeting and clear up any discrepancies and what the facts may be. Any other town board members want to respond to anything else we've got on the floor right now, or can we move on to our public hearing? You all set? Okay. Item number 1 on the agenda, and there's about 17 or 20 of them, including one under new business, which we'll get to, which is it's a small item. Number 1 is setting a public hearing date for a proposed zone change for properties in the hamlet of Pearl River. And it reads as follows, essentially setting the public hearing for May 6th at 8 p.m. on a proposed local law amending Chapter 43 and so on and so forth, the zoning map, essentially to kind of reconcile reality with the map so that people who live in the houses over there can live in a residential area as they probably always assumed they were. So can I have a motion for that one, please? Move from Divany, second over here. Second for Troy. All in favor, say aye. All right, so we have a public hearing date. That's great. Now, this is an actual public hearing, which has been notified to the public and through the media by our town clerk. And the public hearing, I'd like to make a motion to open it. It has to do with traffic signs and so on for safety. We got a second from Divany. All in favor, say aye. All right, Charlotte, you can present the affidavit of publication and notice of posting.
I have them, if anybody would like to see the
All right.
affidavit of publication or the notice of posting.
She's got it. We can start out with public comment. If anybody came out to speak on this question of the small changes in the signs. No, I'm not seeing any. Anybody? You guys all set? Okay. Motion to close public hearing from Troy, second from Divany. All in favor, say aye. The ayes have it. All right, then we have a motion. Anytime we change town law, even in a minor way, we have to have a SECRA, which is the State Environmental Quality Review, declaring ourselves lead agency. So I'll make a motion for the town to be lead agency. I got a second from Divany. All in favor, say aye. All right. All right, well, presumably our declaration under SECRA, having considered all possible environmental and economic impacts, is that it is negative under SECRA. It does not have a significant impact on the environment to change a couple of signs out there. So I'll make a motion for a negative declaration. Can I have a second? Second, all in favor, say aye. The last resolution is the adoption of the local law as amended here, and the full text is printed here with a couple of cross-outs, just showing the changes in the hours for a right on red and so on. We have a motion from Divany, second from Troy. All in favor, say aye. All right, the new local law has been adopted. All right, we have a motion to open. I'll second. Public hearing amending the flood damage prevention law. All in favor, say aye.
Again, I have the affidavit of publication and the notice of posting.
Is anybody here to speak about the change in the flood prevention map? It's been discussed a couple of times at past town board meetings. John Giardello has coordinated that as a benefit to the town. Motion from Divany to close the public hearing. Second from Moore. All in favor, say aye. The ayes have it. Close. I'll second. Town lead agency. All in favor, say aye. The ayes have it. We're now doing the SECRA review. I'll make a motion for a negative declaration under SECRA. Change does not have significant environmental impact. Second from Divany. All in favor, say aye. All right, so resolution number 11 is the adoption of local law 4 as amended. I second it. All in favor, say aye. And then there's a copy of the change there. Item number 12 is accepting the resignation, Charles Cross, Board of Assessment Review. I'll make a motion for that. Can I have a second? Second. All right, from Divany. All in favor, say aye. I did speak with Mr. Cross and thanked him for his service to the town. He'll get a thank you letter. We did some interviews of candidates for that vacancy today, so we'll have an agenda item on that in the next meeting, I guess. Number 13 is the appointment of members to the Golf Committee. There are 9 folks listed here. Actually, 10, 11, there's 2 more down here. Paul, you want to make a motion for this? Motion for Valentine, can I have a
Yeah,
second?
I'm going to make a motion to amend. I'd like to add Bill Baldus, John Hickey, and Nick Frustacey, who, based on their past service and based on the fact they had the interest enough to come out here tonight, I think they should be added back onto the committee.
I'm sorry, could you repeat those names?
Bill Baldus, B-A-L-D-E-S, D-U-S, John Hickey, and Nicholas Frustacey, F-R-U-S-T-A-C-I.
I'll second it for the following reason. Although I agree that committees can be too large, and I think it needs to be done, the effort that Paul put forward. And I also completely believe that Paul had no ulterior motives other than to make the committee run smoother. But the fact that you've spent your time to come out here tonight to show your interest in staying on made me consider the fact of seconding what Mr. Troy's proposed. But with that said, there can't be any animosity going forward. There was certainly some level of that here tonight. So going forward, I hope this committee continues to do the good work they're doing and works well together.
So right now, we have a motion, I guess, to amend this resolution, and we have a second. So I actually lose track of these. Are we voting on the amendment, or voting on the resolution as amended?
Amendment,
No, you
please.
vote on the amendment first, and then vote.
All right. Paul, do you want to respond to that at all, or not? I'm not.
No, I understand what they said, and I understand what Tom said. I don't agree, and I'm going to vote against it, but the votes will fall the way they fall. I've spent numerous emails and hours and debating myself and with the chairman and with other members of the committee on this. This wasn't a rash decision by any means, and I still think that committees can get too large. And I think it was a tough decision that I made, and I had the courage to come out and do it. And most committee liaisons don't. So it is what it is. Agreed, Paul.
It's a difference of opinion. One of the things I'll say for Bill Baldus, I got his emails when he was down in Florida with all these different ideas, and then they went to the chairperson, and from my understanding, I don't think he was ever given credit for the work that he did. So that's another issue.
All right, so a vote on the amendment of this. Maybe you ought to do a roll call, Charlie, because I have a feeling it's going to be...
Councilman Troy,
Yes.
Councilman Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Divany, Councilman Valentine,
No.
Supervisor Stewart.
No, and that's out of respect for Paul putting the work into it. And I think Tom was quite eloquent in saying that everybody is trying to get the job done here in the best way possible. And also that it's a free country and people can show up for that meeting and participate one way or another. And folks who want to do that and contribute in a positive way, I think are encouraged to do that. So that motion actually passes. So we have now an amended resolution, which is to appoint the folks who are listed there, plus Bill Baldus, Mr. Hickey, and Mr. Frustashi. And Matt Reed and Sean are already listed on there.
Right.
So that goes up to 14 folks. All right.
As amended, who's going to make the motion?
13, yeah,
No,
14.
we just voted on that, the amended resolution.
Yeah,
It's done.
it's, you're right. They're splitting it into two votes, but it's done.
It's done.
Okay, and that's that.
You have to vote on the amended resolution. You do.
All right,
Okay.
You do.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, as amended, who's going to make the motion?
It's a difference of opinion on the niceties of the process. We just voted to amend the resolution.
Now you're going to
and now
vote
it's
on the
vote we need to
resolution.
Actually, on the resolution.
As amended.
But it was already moved, the entire resolution was moved in the first place, so now just you all vote yes or no on the amended resolution.
Right, that's exactly what Charlie was about to do. Okay. So Charlie, why don't you call it out and people will vote?
Well, even if you're taking a second vote, you still need to make a motion and a second.
I don't agree, but I'll say yes. I'll make the motion.
Motion from Troy,
I'll second.
second from Moore. Roll call, please.
I actually agree with you, but it's so convoluted now, I'm gonna leave it this way. Councilman Troy,
Yes.
Councilman Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Divany,
Yes.
Councilman Valentine,
No.
Supervisor Stewart.
No. Thanks. Number 14, this is a resolution to approve project graduation funding. It lists 5 high schools with different amounts of money to support the alcohol-free graduation ceremonies that are such important projects. We had some discussion about this last week. We got a motion for this one?
I'll make a motion.
From Troy? Second from Moore. Any conversation about that needed? No?
Yeah, on the motion, Mr. Divany can ask questions about it last week, and I said I would talk to Pearl River High School, Nanuet High School, and Albertus, and I did. In terms of Pearl River High School, the budget is about $10,000. Where they get their money from is they get their food donated. They send out letters to all the parents, and I know that because I had 4 children go through there. Only 3 had project graduation. And they also charge $25 per student, which is new in the last couple of years. Nanuet does it through, they have fundraisers and donations. Their budget is $7,500, and they're also charging $25 per student. Their whole thing costs about $10,000, but again, with the $25 per student, it's the $7,500 comes from fundraisers, donations. Albertus is $5,700, and 95% is done through fundraisers and donations.
All right, thanks for that report back. I think the town is proud to be able to participate at the level we are. Is that it? Okay. We have a motion over here.
I made it.
Okay, do we have a second? More, all in favor, say aye. All right, there's a tax cert, that's number 15. Dennis Michaels has prepared it. Discussed a couple weeks ago. Can I have a motion for this one, please? I got a motion from Divany. Can I have a second?
second.
Troy, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Number 16 is businesses, certificates of registration to do sewer work in the town. There are 3 listed. Can I have a motion for this, please? Divany's moving. Second over here, Valentine. All in favor, say aye. Number 17, this is the drainage work that is going to be done over by the Virginia Home Subdivision. Moved from Divany, second from myself. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's notable, and Superintendent Jim Dean was saying this a week or so ago, that this work is actually going to improve the drainage for the whole area, which is great. It's certainly going to help protect the Spark Hill Creek from stormwater overflows. Number 18 is approving a credit card payment system for Broadacres. Moved from Divany, second. Over here, Troy, all in favor, say aye. Number 19 is authorizing agreement for reimbursement by the county for video recording equipment, $5,000 coming in. Motion for that, Divany, second over here. Troy, all in favor, say aye. Number 20 is the Project Lifesaver. It's been discussed several times. Tom, would you like to make a motion for that? I know that you worked on it.
Dennis and I will make a motion.
Okay.
Move second, Dennis.
I'll second it.
All right.
And I'd like to recognize the Marsiglianos that are here, that have been a prime
That's great,
mover
guys.
in getting this thing done, and we appreciate all your help.
I appreciate all yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. This is a good thing.
Maureen actually caught my ear at the 25th reunion for Pearl High School. That's how it started.
And Maureen can catch people's ear.
Whether they like it or not.
Well, that's the power of a good idea.
Thank you all for your help. Thank you.
Yeah, well done, guys. This is great. All in favor, say aye. Number 21, this is a disciplinary settlement, employee number 2637 in the police department. I'll make a motion for this. Can I have a second? Divany, all in favor, say aye. From the highway department, we have an aid to the Pearl River Rotary Children's Fishing Contest on April 26th. Obviously, it's coming right up. Hopefully, we'll have good weather for that. Can I have a motion for this, please? From Troy, second from Moore. All in favor, say aye. Number 23 is the permission granted annual highway school to Jim Dean, Stefan Muno, and a few of their staff people to go June 2nd to 4th, so on and so forth. I'll make a motion. Can I have a second? Divany, all in favor, say aye. Got that.
You're going Ithaca, right, Jim?
Ithaca.
It says Ithaca.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
That's what I thought.
Number 24 is aid to St. Thomas Aquinas' graduation ceremony.
Well, I'm in 24, 25, and 26. They're all aid to
True
various
enough.
organizations throughout town.
All right, so we're voting on a consolidated of those three items, 24 through 26. I'll make a motion. Can I have a second? All right, all in favor say aye. Good stuff. Number 27 is our annual agreement with the Noble Ninth Masonic Grounds to operate our summer camp out of the picnic ground there, which is a wonderful place to have summer camp, very popular. Motion from Divany, second from myself. All in favor say aye. Number 28, this is a new business item that our town attorney Robert Magrino put forward.
Rob, why don't you come up with me?
Good evening.
Yeah, just say a word or two about it.
Yes, as you recall, last year, the town granted that easement to 155 Corporate Drive LLC for the purpose of allowing them to run telecommunications lines across town property. And there was a fee that they paid for that, of course. They contacted us, and this week I spoke to them on Monday. The tenant who's going into that location, Bloomberg, is asking that Verizon lines be permitted to run through there. And frankly, when this was first came about, the easement was for them to run whatever lines they needed. So my understanding is, I just spoke to Joe Moran, he's not sure if the actual conduit is completed. They put in conduit into the easement, and the lines run through that. All they're asking is that Verizon be permitted to have a license from 155 to run those Verizon lines through there.
And they're not getting any money.
They're not getting any other money. As you know, the easement requires that if they do lease it to somebody else or collect money from somebody else to run those lines through, that the town would get 50% of that. They've indicated that they don't have that. I prepared the resolution so that in the event it comes to be that they did, in fact, receive money for it, that we would get it. But basically, in order for them to grant the license to Verizon to run Verizon lines in there, they need our consent, or an indication that we don't object. So I've sent it to the town board and asked if you wanted to consider it tonight. And it seemed like there was mostly positive feedback on that. So.
Make a motion.
All right, we have a motion from Divany, a second from myself. All in favor say aye. That's great.
Okay, thank you.
Onwards for the new data center. Number 29, similarly, it's a new business item. There's discussion over the last couple of meetings. Eric Gorton has coordinated a process getting a concessionaire to be serving food down in Veterans Park. The town board essentially approved the contract before, and then it went out to bid. Approved the concept for the contract, and it's been out to bid, and you've come back with a good prospect for that. So-
Right. As you recall, last time, the issue with the bid was it was incomplete. They had, the individual had left off some pricing for option years. So I asked John that evening, and he said it would be appropriate to go back to her and get that information. I did. I received that actually yesterday. Forwarded that to Dennis Michaels and John Edwards, who I wasn't aware was on vacation, and Dennis responded saying it was okay. Sorry, Teresa, I would have sent it to you. I didn't know you were covering. So Dennis approved of it. So I'd like to move on this. It's getting late in the year. I want to give her every chance to get up and running and have a good show of it. So
Need someone there.
I agree.
I'll second it.
Two quick questions. There's no name. Is there names? I don't
It's the
It's at your service, and it's in the second
catering,
line.
and it's,
Yeah,
yeah, the name of the individual is Ula Newman Robertson, is the name of the woman who runs the operation.
I fully support it. I'm
Okay.
happy with it, so.
Yeah, I was over there the other day, and need someone there.
It's nice to have the concession operating. I agree. We
Yeah.
have our summer concerts
I think
coming
we have
up.
a motion from Valentine, second from Divany. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, and thank you, Eric, for
Thank you.
helping make that happen. Number 30 is receiving and filing 8 documents by the town clerk's office, and they're listed here. I'll make a motion for that. Can we have a second? All in favor say aye.
Under new business, Chief, I know that Hugh Johnson had put in for the emergency management conference, and it's on May 9th, so I think we should get that under new business and vote on that tonight. Yeah, the thing, my understanding was that it was coming out of the Emergency Management Committee. Do you want me to get some information together for you for tonight, or, like, I didn't think it was coming from us, it was coming from the committee.
It's coming out of the committee budget?
Well, that's what my understanding was, it was coming out of the actual Emergency Management Committee, not the police department. Is that incorrect? That's what I was.
I know I mean, it's different because we didn't have a budget for emergency management last year. That's correct. So, yeah, we'll take it out of, do we know the numbers?
What I could find it out, when's your next meeting? Because we could.
It's just next week, we have a workshop on the 29th,
And then when do you have your next town board meeting?
just the week after. No, it's our next meeting,
Conference is May 9th.
right, and our town board meeting is the 6th,
All
for
right,
what
so
it's
we can
worth.
vote on it then. All right.
Yep,
Okay,
All right, so we don't need to vote on it. I just wanted to.
okay,
okay. I'll make sure we get that squared away. I asked about that today, and they.
that'd be great.
And Chief, just a question. I've been reading a lot in paper about officers in various counties and states carrying and being certified with Narcan.
Yes.
Are we headed towards that?
Yes, we had a presentation back on April 9th from the Rockland paramedics. We're now in the process of going to be training our officers how to use Narcan, and will be a product that we'll have implemented this year. Yes.
And just anyone who doesn't know, Narcan is used to offset the effects of heroin overdoses and opiates. And I've said this before, we do have a prescription drug, we do have a heroin problem in Orangetown. I think it's moving in the right direction. There was one jurisdiction where they were able to prevent 221 out of 240 people who've overdosed from passing away due to that overdose, and I think we need to get that. I'm glad to hear that you're working on
Yeah,
it.
and I can confirm that within the past month, once in Piermont and once in Blauville, that Narcan was used by the paramedics and they saved 2 lives. So it's been used twice here in Orangetown. And while I'm up here, I'll just mention that this Saturday, April 26th, is the DEA drug take back, and we'll be doing it here at police headquarters. We'll be putting out a press release, and I believe CVS will be participating also. I just asked Detective Sergeant Sullivan to confirm that. There'll be a press release going out on behalf of the Police Department and Substance Abuse Committee saying that. So, and I also understand that the Attorney General will be coming down here to Orangetown to kind of make a stop, so I'm sure the elected officials would like to know that.
Yeah, 11:45.
It's 12:45, I think.
Oh, it's now 12:40, I thought it was 11:45.
Schneiderman up for re-election?
I'm pretty sure it's 12:45, Dennis,
All
but
right, send it
look
out
at
to
the
me
email
tomorrow,
again,
okay,
because
listen.
it was sent
I'd
around.
love to be there, but I'll be hanging out with Goofy, Mickey, and Donald.
All right, that sounds like more fun.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for promoting that.
Always hang
It's
out with
important that
Ah,
people dispose of their prescription.
that's right, Goofy.
There was another, actually, new business item, which was we've had a vacancy on the Sanitation Commission, and we did some interviews, and we wanted to appoint a gentleman named Chris Huber to that. I'd make a motion for that, if I could get a second.
No, second.
Oh, thanks.
Second from Troy.
That's Huber, Huber. By the way, in the golf committee, you have, the name there is wrong. It's Cheers Bauer. It's Chris Brower, Brauer.
Where is that?
In the golf committee.
Oh, in the,
Mine's correct.
Yeah, it
You
got
might
messed
have
up.
the old version.
Oh, I have the old Cheers Bauer one?
Actually, this is the new version.
Okay.
All right.
You have the old
Okay, so that
Cheers
was the
Bauer.
new business. We've got Christopher Huber on the Sanitation Commission. Is there
now,
anything
who made the
else?
second on that motion?
I believe
I did.
it was Dennis
Dennis.
seconded and Dimony motioned
All
for
right,
it.
all right.
You know what, I might have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make the motion.
You're right.
Dennis, second. Do we have any adjournments?
We haven't, well, we
Did
do
you
also have an audit.
Did you
Let's
do
not
receive
forget
and
about that.
file? Did you do 30? You did it?
Yeah.
I missed that, okay, never mind.
All right, bought it.
You in a hurry?
I need a quick executive session.
Oh, happy birthday. It's just
Say
like-
happy birthday.
No, that's right.
Copies of this.
Okay, you'll see we have 4 audits today. The first audit is simply for a check for $100 for a perb case fee. The second warrant totals $29,663 and was strictly for utilities. Similarly, the third warrant totaled $145,000 and was all for utilities. And then the fourth warrant was 388 vouchers. There's a slight typo here. It's $2,318,155.64 instead of $154, which is what is on your printed copy there. The main items there, number 1, $750,000 to Arthur Gallagher. That's for our full year insurance renewal for property coverage, workers' comp, essentially all of our insurance for the year for the town. Number 4, Capasso, $48,000 for recycling. Number 6, Gabriella Truck, $280,000 for a heavy-duty truck that we got in December and are just now paying because there were some issues with it. Number 11, our unemployment, mainly for, first quarter, the whole first quarter of 2014, $38,000. And then number 12, our April healthcare premiums of $652,000.
Now, for the number 1, is that on a contract or we renew it every year?
It's renewed every year, and it's bid out by our insurance brokers.
Okay.
And, you know, that was essentially, this year we got, it was basically a 2.5% increase over last year, which kept our deductible at the same rate, our SIR, which was,
How many bidders do you just one or more than one?
well, it's different for property insurance versus workers' comp. So you get different amount of bidders for each of those. But for the workers' comp in general, you don't get a lot of bidders at this point. So it's,
Motion on the audit.
All right, we have a motion to approve the audit. Second for more. All in favor, say aye. There are a few adjournments at the end of the agenda here.
Larry McKeever passed away. Dennis, I don't know if you wanted to say anything about.
Yeah, Larry McKeever was, he's a 35-year resident of Pearl River, passed away. He'd been a quadriplegic the last 2 years. But prior to being a quadriplegic, what he was somebody who was very active in the community. Every charitable fundraiser that went on in Pearl River, he was involved in, including Relay for Life. I was just told that TD Bank just donated $2,500 to Relay for Life, just in his name. He did the cooking. We had the free hamburgers. Well, they sold some of the hamburgers, and the money went to Relay for Life. But somebody I know since I was 18 years old, and he was a mentor to me when I was 18. I needed mentoring. And he was just a great giving human being. And he used to write into the Orangetown. He wrote a story about me as I was an 18-year-old, and he was a mixologist at some establishment down in the Bronx. He had a great sense of humor, Larry McKeever did, and he's going to be sorely missed. And thank you for mentioning that.
And there are a couple other folks there, Ryan Gerard and Patrick McManus as well, being memorialized with our adjournment tonight. Thanks for those comments. Dennis, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. The ayes have it. You're calling executive session? All right. Reverse out of that. A motion for executive session to get legal advice from our town attorney.